Hi, welcome to HealYourself Therapies, and this session is just continuing on the theme of what we've been talking about where we are right now in the world and what we can do to get ourselves into a great place. Right now, there is a very, very big battle going on. A very big battle. And it's a battle between good and evil. The good exists in two realms. The realm here with us and realms outside of here. Okay? The bad exists in two realms as well. The realm here with us and another realm outside of that. And so we've got this incredible battle going on. What do both sides want? The good side wants us to unite, to be one, to understand that we're here and we're all the same. We're all one being, really. We all come from the same source, and it wants us to live in love. The bad side wants us to be divided, wants us to be in chaos, and wants us to live in fear. Okay? So we've got two camps, love and fear. That's all. And really, at the end of the day, that's all there is. Either we're in love or we're in fear. We do something, we either do an act of love or we do an act of fear. Okay? So this battle's going on. Now, it manifests itself out here in the world. It's manifesting itself all of the time. How do we know what is good and what is bad? Very simple. Very simple. The bad wants to turn everything on its head. It's the system that's always been used by if you look at any kind of investigate any satanic cult, everything that they do is upside down. They do everything. They put the Star of David upside down. They put the cross upside down. Everything is upside down on purpose. It's kind of like they want to make a mockery of everything. Okay, and so they make it upside down. But how does that manifest itself to us? Well, what it does, it makes good as bad, and bad is good. I'll give you some very simple examples. If you look at television, right? I haven't watched television for a long time, for maybe more than 15 years. And when I see modern television, when I watch it, when I'm forced to watch it because I'm in a place where I can't not see it, I'm actually horrified at the level of badness that's in it. And what I mean by that is the level of perversion that I see, whether it be drugs, whether it be sex, whether it be devil worship, which is really popular now, was made incredibly popular. And so what I see is that the moral compass of modern day has been perverted to a degree that is beyond me. I can't even begin to have any empathy for that. Okay? That constant niggling, constant eating away at our moral code over the years has transformed society into one in which it believes that the anormal, that's not the word, the not normal should be classed as normal, and the normal should be classed as not normal. Or in other words, the weird is good and the normal is not good anymore. Yeah? So we have situations where groups of people who are outside of the normal are hailed as more important. Truly, that's just the way it is. more important than the standard groups. So for example, now in this world, white people, okay, are held in disdain. Suddenly, especially white men. Yeah. So why are they held in disdain? It's because the whole way that society is geared, driven by the demonic forces that are here, that are working to corrupt the world. And that's really what they're, do not underestimate what they are doing. They've been working a long time to corrupt the world, to take us all to a place that they want us to be. And we don't necessarily want to be there, but we are very easily manipulated. So let's get on to manipulation. They manipulate us, and they've broken the code. Remember, I talked about the Alliance Code of free will, and they've broken that, but very, very indirectly, kind of getting us to agree, to go along with it. And this is where we are now, today. The mass, the majority, we are not the majority yet. The majority is there, and it is going along. It's going along with what it's been told to do. But they are using a system. When I say they, I'm talking about, let's just say the devil and his hordes, right? Let's not beat around the bush. They're linked to, the cabal, the deep state, the Illuminati, you call it what you will, but the devil's hordes, right? They are, and they have been, using a system. They, compared to us, they are the most unoriginal, unthinking, incapable, uncreative group of beings ever. However, they are extremely manipulative, and they are extremely dogged, and they have infiltrated themselves into places of power, so they have lots of power. But in terms of creativity, very little. They have one tool that they use, and it's a hammer. It's just the saying, if the workman only has a hammer, he's going to hit everything with a hammer. Okay? And that's what they've done. They have, over the years, used their hammer of manipulation. And it's a very simple one. It's called problem, reaction, solution. Right? Problem, reaction, solution. I think it's called the Hegelian dialect or something like that. Hegelian something. Okay? Doesn't matter what it's called. This is what they do. They create the problem. We go, and we react. And then they come in on their white steeds with the solution. All right? And we go, oh, thank goodness for that. You brought the solution. And that's how they do. That's how they work. And they've always done it. And they keep doing it. Where you get, when they want to invade a country and they want to do whatever they want to do for their reasons and suck the resources out of that country and destroy the infrastructure because maybe a leader isn't doing what they've told them that they've got to do. All they do is this. They send in paid mercenaries. They create an internal war where suddenly the people are rising against, supposedly, rising against the infrastructure of the country. Yeah, all paid mercenaries. Then the country fights back, and then we hear that the country is killing their own people. And so we then, being good Christian people, have to go in and fix that problem. That system has been used over and over and over again, killing their own people, and they've got weapons of mass destruction. That's it. They've got nuclear bombs, they're threatening us. It's always the same story. And they keep using it over and over again. Okay? When it comes to anything where they want to change the law and they want to take away some more of our rights and freedom, then they create a false flag, right? And what they do with the false flag is they create something that's horrific. they potentially kill people, sometimes they don't kill people, sometimes they use actors, and they use crisis actors. And they create a horrible thing that everybody reacts to, okay? It could be a bomb, it could be a shooting, it could be a killing. They react, people react to it, and then they come in and say, okay, we'll fix this by changing the laws and taking away your freedom. And everybody says, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now we're living in a much safer world. The world was safe. They created the problem, then they give us a solution, and then they took away our freedoms. And so this is the system they've used. And they've used it for years. And if you don't believe me, do your due diligence and have a look, because it's in your face. Just look at the way that crisis actors are used, and look at all of the big events that have happened that have shocked and stunned us, and investigate. All right, it's not so easy now because YouTube is taking away all of that information. However, you will find it on BitChute and on lots of other platforms. But BitChute, it's difficult to navigate through BitChute, but all of the videos are there because everybody's getting the videos taken down from YouTube. So when you go into YouTube and if you put in, crisis actors, you get loads of debunking. Crisis actors don't. So the whole page, 3 or 4 pages of YouTube will tell you that it doesn't exist, because they've manipulated the whole the search mechanism in YouTube, so that if you put in, for example, I'm not saying that this is what I believe, but if you put in the earth is flat and you're trying to look for some proof, very difficult to find now. Very difficult. It's all been taken away. Right? So you have to look elsewhere. Right? But if you put false flag, right? That's what they call. That's when they invent a problem and then they give you the solution to the problem that they invented, and you're very grateful. Look, if you look on Google now, false flag, you just get pages and pages of CNN talking about how false flags don't exist. All right, but so you've got to go now. You've got to do your due diligence. You've got to go elsewhere to look for that. You've got to go elsewhere. It's there. It's there. And BitChute is a great place to start. So, getting back to my point, they've used the same process since the beginning. And it's wearing a little bit thin. Because now, as soon as something happens, there is a plethora of home reporters, people who have taken the job of reporting, because our reporting media is a joke now. It isn't a joke. It's demonic. And all it does is it's there to promote the agenda of the cabal, and also to promote fear. That is their job. Fear. And I'm going to come to that. So, lots and lots of people, something happens, everybody starts investigating. Remember now, people are very savvy, they're tech savvy. They can take something and they can look and see if it's been overlaid, if it's green screen, if it's been photoshopped, and they're on it. We're on it. And they can't sell us the same crap, because they keep selling us the same crap over and over again. But people are waking up to it and going, hang on a minute, this is just the same rubbish presented in the same way. Even it's just a different situation. All right. So they are extremely uncreative beings. They have no creative capacity, not the capacity that we have. And when I'm using the word creative, I'm not just talking about making things like, drawing, that type of creativity or thought. I'm talking about actually manifesting things. They know that we were made in the image of God, right? We were made in the image of God. What does that mean? Depends on where you come from. If you believe in the Bible, right, then the image of God. So therefore, we are like God, right? If you are more alternative and you believe that perhaps we were brought about by a visitation in which they spliced the genes, their genes with the beings that were on the earth, okay, and made us, and that was done various times, and that's more like to do with the some of the early tablets that talk about that kind of thing, okay? Doesn't matter. If you believe that we were made in God's image, whether it be gene splicing or creation, what that means is that we are partly God's. Right. Some people go, oh, how dare you say that, we're like gods. I'm not talking about us being, I'm not a god. But we are made in the image of Him. We have those genes. And so what that means is that we are able to create. And it's been proven over and over and over again. You know, cosmic ordering, affirmations, you call it what you like. But we can manifest in our lives stuff. Right? When can we do that? We can do that when we are in a place of love, excitement, enthusiasm, and hope. That's when we do it. That's when we manifest. When I look at what I've manifested in my life, it's only been through the excitement and the excitement for the future and the belief. Yeah. So what do? They know that if we have any hope, then we can start to create a new world. Literally, we can create a new world. And so their job is to keep us in fear, subjugated in fear, because when we're in fear, we don't have any hope. We have no hope for the future. And honestly, the vast majority of people have no hope for the future. They are in deep depression and fear because all they get from the news is bad news, bad news, bad news. Now, a system that they use as well, and I want you to be aware of this, is this one, is the giving and the taking away, right? And no better the situation with this current virus that we see, this current pandemic. No better situation than that of the giving and taking away, and I'll explain why they do this. So what they do is this: they say, and this is just recently in the last few weeks. I honestly, it's a non-stop, and the poor gits that have to sit and watch the news. I feel heartily sorry for them. I don't. I get it by other means, but it must be awful. So they say, just recently. Great news. The asymptomatic people, the people who don't have any symptoms, they can't pass it on. Right? They don't pass it on. That was one day. The very next day, that was withdrawn, and they said, actually, no. Asymptomatic people not only pass it on, they are the most dangerous. Okay? The most dangerous. So what happens is they use a system of good news. People go, ooh, that's great news. And then they take it away and they make it worse. Now, what does that do for us? What's that do to our psyche? What that does is that gives us a little bit of hope. Not much, because we're in this mire, yeah, up to our necks. But a little bit of hope, so we rise up, and then, bam, with a hammer, they knock us down, and we end up further down than what we were yesterday, yeah, or the day before. And so what they do, and they do this constantly, they do it constantly. The masks have no value at all. You go, oh great, so we don't need it. Masks must be worn. In fact, we're making it law now. Okay, and people are going, but I don't understand. Is it or isn't it? The virus is mutating. The virus is mutating. Actually, no, the virus is pretty much the same. It's not just mutating. There are 3 strains now. Yeah, and this is what people are. They have people going up and down, up and further down, up and further down, and that's their system. That is the system. That is why the media exists. Right? The media has no value to us. Zero value, apart from value to the cabal to bring mankind down to its knees. That's the job. All right. There is no In the media that is owned by them, there is no value, zero value. Okay, the only value you've got is to be able to watch it and say and look for the stark manipulation that they use, which is what they do over and over again. And also what the other system they do is this, is to give you the perception that they are considering both sides. Right, Bill Gates is getting a very hard time in the entire world, in the entire internet. He's getting a very bad time. And my prophecy, my prediction is that they may need to sacrifice Bill Gates. They may need to do a little bit of a sacrifice because he has lost all credibility. And unfortunately, although in the mainstream, Bill Gates is still the hero of the hour, there's an awful lot going on. So what do they have to do? What they do is this. They see that there's this wave. Remember, everything that happens in social media is managed by them. They measure it, they manage it. All right? Don't think that what you read is people. All right? People saying things. Don't think that any hashtag that comes out has been designed by a man in the street. Don't think that any idea, any movement has been designed by the man in the street. We don't do stuff like that. They do it. Everything is orchestrated and organized. All right? Everything. Dropping to one knee is organized and orchestrated. All right? Kissing people's feet to say sorry is organized and orchestrated. This is not the man in the street that's doing that. So what they do is this. They see a wave coming through of, ooh, hang on a minute, we mustn't let that get into the mainstream. That mustn't get into the mainstream. It mustn't get into the awareness of the people. So what they do is they will then have a little program and they go, you know, Bill Gates, the wonderful man that he is, who's given millions and saved lives, and were it not for Bill Gates, he is the victim of a paranoid group of conspiracy psychopaths. Right? So they do mention that he's being attacked, but they do it in such a way that people go, yeah, these people are crazy. Look at the good things that Bill Gates has done. What a shame that they would attack somebody, a philanthropist like that. Yeah. So what they do is they mention it because it must be mentioned. Because if they don't mention it, then we've got an elephant in the room, haven't we? So they mention it, but they make it in such a way that the people, this is what happens with the people who are on this side with them, watching, going along. They say, ah, yeah, I saw something like that. Ah, right, I understand it now. Debunked. Yeah, I understand. And so then they can continue in there without any cognitive dissonance. Yeah, they can continue. So that's a system that they use, and they're doing this more and more and more. More and more and more. Okay? So what have we got to do? What have we got to do to combat this? Our job, I believe, is to help people to wake up. Now, I said this the last time. Our job is to help people to wake up. But our job is to do that with compassion. It's to do it with compassion, to do it with love. And to remember that at some point we were asleep too. So we are not anybody to criticize those who are asleep. They're asleep because they've been fooled, they've been conned, right? And it isn't their fault. When somebody goes fishing and they throw a hook in that has got the most delicious bait on it, when the fish bites the bait, is it the fish's fault that is being caught, or is it the responsibility of the person who put the bait in? That's where we are. We are just little fish. We are trusting. We are loving people. We trust. We want to trust. And they have utilized that. They have used their manipulation to use our trust, to garner our trust, and then to betray it. It is not the people's fault. That's very important to remember, because if you want to wake people up, the way you do it is with love. You don't do it by hate. You don't do it by anger. You don't do it by name calling. That's not how people are going to wake up. However, I want to finish by telling you a story about something that happened to me yesterday, and it has really cemented into me the importance of what's happening. Because yes, the cabal are doing a fantastic job. They've been doing a fantastic job, a horrific job, and they must be very pleased with themselves. But that's not the way the story goes. The story has a happy ending. Okay? In any of the religious texts, the story has a happy ending. We will have a happy ending. Because, you see, the yin and yang of life is, if there is a dark side, and there is, there's a light side too. If there is bad, then there's good. Okay? In equal measure. Now the only difference is yin and yang, the bad and the good is the same. The difference is this, that when you put the light on, the darkness must go away. That's the only one rule in physics, that light overcomes darkness. Okay? Just away. You go into a room, put the light on, the darkness goes away. What you can't do is to put the light on and then put the darkness on and the light goes away. Doesn't work. Just doesn't work. So we have a group of beings who are here to help, and they are working in the background extremely hard. They are working without pause. They came to me and called themselves the emissaries. They came to me a good while ago now and just said, we want you to help us to speak the message of hope. A message of hope. Why? Because the act of speaking the message helps to raise the vibration, the vibrational frequency of the earth. Why does the vibrational frequency of the earth have to be raised? Because it's been brought down to a very low level, a very base level, a devilish level. And they want to raise the vibration. What happens when the vibration is raised? The light comes on and people start to see. And this is what's happening, that people are starting to see. The information's coming out. There's so much information now about what they've been up to that it's horrific. And in fact, come the time when we get unplugged from this matrix, come the time when the masses wake up. And remember, we've had a long time. We know what the story is, so we're not going to be surprised. The masses are going to go through a loss, the loss of faith, and they're going to go through a process of loss, and many of them are going to be trapped in depression and anger. And it's going to be our job to help them to get through when they discover the reality of what happened and what has been happening, when they discover the horrors of the things that have been going on around them whilst they were asleep. Remember, there's a price to pay for being asleep, which is when you wake up, you feel bad that you were asleep. Okay? But before you feel bad, you feel angry, and you feel depressed. Right? But you can get through it. We've all gone through it, and in the end you come to acceptance and you understand what you've got to learn from that. And that's a great process. It's a process of loss. Right? Everybody goes through it. But they're going to have to go through that. And that's going to be tough for them, and we're going to have to be there to help them. Yeah? And I believe that my purpose for the remainder of my life is to help people to overcome that horrible trauma that they've gone through, which is trauma-based mind control that they've gone through. So yesterday, I had a message from somebody I hadn't seen for years. All right? A client that we'd worked together in therapy years ago. And she said to me, Gordon, I don't know who to turn to. I want to see if I can talk to you about the fact that I have been approached. I have been approached by a being from the other side asking me to help to spread a message of hope, to help to raise the vibrational frequency of the earth, to help the earth move into love. Okay? And she said, and I don't know if I'm going mad or not. And I've even had a conversation with it, and I've made notes. Okay? And I was absolutely blown away. Why? Because as she described it, I talked to her, as she described what happened to her, the same thing had happened to me. And what I'm aware of is that there ain't two people. The emissaries, or these beings, let's just call them these beings, these light workers, are working with everyone. They're working with everyone that they can. They are selecting specific people who they believe are resonating at a frequency that they can work with. But they've said to me they're working with everyone. And they're working to raise the vibration. Why is it that more and more and more people are speaking out? More and more people are speaking out about what's going on. How is it? It's because they are being helped. They're being given the valor, the bravery to speak out, because it's terrifying to speak out in this world. It's very dangerous to speak out. They made it dangerous. And so all of these people are speaking out. Now what they've told me is just this: to send a message to tell people that all they need to do is to start calming the mind down, giving themselves some time, whether it be meditation, whether it be any kind of thing, walking in the countryside, just sitting in silence. Because what they can do then is they can reach you, and they want to reach everybody. The friend that I talked to said they are downloading stuff into me. I am being downloaded into me. That's just what happens when I'm with it, when I'm communing with them. They're downloading. The other day they downloaded something that was so powerful that I thought, I didn't know if I was awake or asleep for about 4 hours. I was in a world that I didn't understand. It was bizarre. And they said afterwards, yeah, that was a big one. Okay? They want to do the same to you. They want to be able to download to you so that then you can be a beacon. We have to be beacons for other people. We have to exude the light, because we're living in a world that's been in darkness for a long time, and we're moving into the light. Good will out. Good will out. There is no question to it. And so all that they're saying to me is that, hey, we need to get a move on here. All right? Because the dark side understands. The dark side sounds like Star Wars, doesn't it? The dark side understands that they have limited time. And that sounds like a quote from the Bible. They know they have limited time, and they are going crazy to make it as bad as possible, as quickly as possible. They are going crazy to get us into a place where we all have forced vaccines, and where we all have a chip, and we can all be controlled via the number 5 thing that they're bringing in. The internet of everything, the internet of things, and those things are also us. We are the internet of things if we're not careful. All right. So that's all that. It's just a bit of a race going on like this. Good against evil. Good against evil. And our job is to help to get into top gear. Help everybody. All right. To do that, start taking time. Calm the mind. Allow them to be able to come down. It's a very simplistic process. Okay. Our energy here, their energy here. All right. They can't reach us. They can't reach us unless we start to quiet the mind and we come up, and then they can come down to us and we meet in the middle. That's all. That's all they want. They want us to be able to just shut the F up a little bit, shut the mind up so that they can get to us, and then the process starts. Now I know that's frightening. You think, oh my goodness, I don't think I want anything downloaded. Thank you very much. Now's not the time. Now's not the time for fear. All right? We've lived in fear long enough. We've lived in control long enough. Now's the time for us to take back our world, for us to unite, for us to be one, for us to enjoy the real purpose of being here, which is for us to realize that we're all one. We're all the same. There are no divisions. That's their job. They divide us, divide and conquer. They've always done it. They've set one man against another. from in every aspect of life, every aspect, man against woman, football team against football team, colour against colour, job against job, class against class, political party against political party. It's just never ending. That's what they've done. On this side, that's not what it's about. It's we are one. We are one. And we're all in the image of God. Once we get there, we'll be in paradise. We'll be in paradise. It's prophesied. It's there. So it's just a matter of how quickly we want to get there. So come on, everybody. Let's start allowing them to come through and to help us, because they're all there waiting like this. They're like this. Okay, come on. Calm yourself down. We never have a moment. We never have a moment. Why? Because they've designed the phone for us to keep all of us constantly in the monkey mind. So we go in the only time that we don't have our phone, and now they're designed a way of having the phone in the shower. But when we're in the shower, in the bath, typically we wouldn't have our phone. But now you can, because they've got a waterproof thing, and you could be in the shower and listening, right? Make a point of leaving some space where you have nothing in your mind, that you let silence come in, and then they can come in too, and they can help. Okay? I'll leave that with you. See you later. Bye-bye.